My name is Jessica. My boyfriend cheated on me. He broke my heart, so I became his stepmother. This sounds like a crazy story. I know, but it is my true story. It is a story about pain. It is a story about anger. But it is also a story about love. It is about finding happiness in a strange place. Let me tell you how it started. I am 24 years old. I am a simple woman. I grew up in a small town. My family did not have much money. My father worked in a factory. My mother was a cleaner. We were happy, but we were poor. I learned to work hard. I wanted a good life. I moved to the city when I was 20. I wanted to study. I wanted to work. In the city, I met a boy. His name was Mark. Mark was handsome. He had blue eyes. He had a nice smile. He was very charming. When he looked at me, I felt special. I thought he was the best man in the world. We dated for 3 years. I loved him very much. I cooked for him. I cleaned his apartment. I bought him gifts with my small salary. I worked at a coffee shop. I stood on my feet all day. My legs hurt. My back hurt. But I was happy. I was happy because I had Mark. I thought Mark loved me too. I thought we would get married. I thought we would have a family. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. One day, I finished work early. The coffee shop was quiet. My boss said, "Jessica, you can go home." I was excited. I wanted to surprise Mark. I bought his favorite food. It was pizza. I walked to his apartment. I had a key. I opened the door quietly. I heard voices. I heard a woman laughing. My heart stopped. My hands felt cold. I walked into the living room. There was Mark. He was on the sofa. There was a girl next to him. She was very beautiful. She wore expensive clothes. She had long, blonde hair. Mark was kissing her. I dropped the pizza. The box fell on the floor. It made a loud noise. Mark jumped up. He looked at me. He did not look sorry. He looked angry. "Jessica," he shouted, "why are you here?" "Why am I here?" I asked. I started to cry. "I live here sometimes. I am your girlfriend." The blonde girl laughed. She stood up. She looked at my cheap clothes. She looked at my old shoes. "This is your girlfriend?" she asked Mark. "She looks like a servant." Mark looked at me. He looked at her. Then he said the worst words of my life. "She is nobody," Mark said. "She is just a girl I know." "Jessica, you need to leave. I am with Cindy now. Cindy is rich. Her father owns a big company. You are nothing." I could not breathe. My chest hurt. It felt like a heavy stone was on my chest. "Mark," I whispered, "I love you." "Love does not pay the bills," Mark said coldly. "Get out." I ran away. I ran out of the apartment. I ran into the street. It was raining. I did not care. I cried and cried. I walked for hours. I was wet. I was cold. But the pain in my heart was worse. For weeks, I was sad. I stayed in my small room. I did not want to eat. I did not want to sleep. I lost weight. My eyes were red from crying. I felt ugly. I felt stupid. I trusted him, and he threw me away like garbage. But then the sadness changed. It changed into anger. I became angry. I was furious. Why was I sad? I was a good person. I was kind. I was loyal. Mark was the bad person. He was a liar. He was a cheater. Why should I cry? He should cry. I looked in the mirror. I wiped my tears. I will not cry anymore, I said. I will make him pay. I will make him regret this. But how? I was poor. I was just a waitress at a coffee shop. Mark was with a rich girl now. He was happy. I went back to work. I needed money. I worked hard. I smiled at customers. But inside, I was cold. One day, a man came into the coffee shop. He was different from the other customers. He wore a very nice suit. It was dark blue. He wore an expensive watch. He looked very elegant. He was older than me, maybe 45 or 50 years old, but he was very handsome. He had gray hair at the sides, but he looked strong. He sat at a table near the window. He opened a laptop. He looked tired. I went to his table. "Hello," I said. "What can I get for you?" He looked up. He had kind eyes. They were brown and warm. "Just a black coffee, please," he said. His voice was deep and soft. I brought him the coffee. "Here you go," I said. I gave him a free cookie. "You look tired. Maybe sugar will help." He smiled. It was a nice smile. "Thank you," he said. "You are very observant. I am tired. My work is stressful." "I understand," I said. "My work is hard too." He came back the next day. And the next day. Every day he sat at the same table. Every day we talked a little more. His name was Thomas. Thomas was a businessman. He was very successful. He owned many buildings in the city. He was rich, but he was also lonely. "My wife died 10 years ago," Thomas told me one day. "I have been alone for a long time. I have a son, but he does not visit me often. He is busy with his own life." "That is sad," I said. "You seem like a good father." "I try," Thomas said. "But my son, he is difficult. He likes money too much. He does not understand the value of hard work. I spoiled him. We became friends. I liked Thomas. He was polite. He listened to me. He asked me about my life. He did not look at his phone when I talked. He looked at me. One day, Thomas left his wallet on the table. He walked out of the shop. I saw the wallet. I ran after him. "Thomas, Thomas," I called. He stopped. He turned around. "You forgot your wallet," I said. I gave it to him. He looked surprised. He opened the wallet. There was a lot of money inside. "Thank you, Jessica," he said. "You are very honest. Many people would keep the money." "I am poor," I said, "but I am not a thief." He smiled. "I know. Would you like to have dinner with me?" "As a thank you." I thought about it. He was older, but he was kind. And I was lonely. "Okay," I said. "I would like that." We went to a nice restaurant. The food was delicious. We talked for hours. Thomas was funny. He was smart. I felt safe with him. Then he showed me a picture. "This is my son," Thomas said. He took a photo out of his wallet. "He is about your age." I looked at the photo. My blood turned to ice. The boy in the photo was Mark. My ex-boyfriend Mark. The cheater Mark. I stared at the photo. I could not speak. "Is something wrong?" Thomas asked. I looked at Thomas. I looked at Mark's photo. Thomas was Mark's father. Suddenly, a crazy idea came into my head. A dark, fiery idea. Mark hurt me. He left me because I was poor. He wanted a rich life. He wanted money. What if I married his father? If I married Thomas, I would be rich. I would have the life Mark wanted. And more importantly, I would be Mark's mother. Stepmother. I would have power over him. I smiled at Thomas. It was a fake smile, but he did not know. "Your son is handsome," I said. "He looks like you." "Thank you," Thomas said. "So, Jessica, tell me more about your dreams." From that moment, my plan began. I did not tell Thomas about Mark. I pretended I did not know him. I focused on Thomas. I wanted to make him fall in love with me. It was not hard. Thomas was lonely. He wanted a companion. And I was young, pretty, and kind to him. We started dating. Thomas was a wonderful boyfriend. He was not like Mark. Mark was selfish. Thomas was generous. Mark always asked me for money. Thomas gave me gifts. He bought me a new dress. He bought me nice shoes. He sent flowers to my house. "You deserve beautiful things," Thomas said. "You work so hard." I started to like Thomas. I really did. He was a good man. But in the back of my mind, I thought about Mark. I imagined Mark's face when he saw us. I wanted to see him suffer. 3 months passed. Thomas and I were very close. "I want you to meet my son," Thomas said one day. "He is coming for dinner on Sunday. Please come." "I would love to," I said. My heart beat fast. Sunday came. I dressed up. I wore a beautiful red dress that Thomas bought for me. I wore high heels. I put on makeup. I looked like a different person. I did not look like the poor waitress. I looked like a rich lady. Thomas picked me up in his expensive car. We drove to his house. His house was a mansion. It was huge. It had a big garden. It had a swimming pool. It was beautiful. "Welcome home," Thomas said. We walked inside. The house was full of expensive furniture. "Mark is in the living room," Thomas said. "Come." We walked into the living room. Mark was standing there. He was looking at his phone. He held a glass of wine. "Mark," Thomas said, "I want you to meet my girlfriend." Mark turned around. "Finally, Dad, I want to see who." He stopped. He dropped his wine glass. It smashed on the floor. Red wine went everywhere. Mark's eyes were wide. His mouth was open. He looked like he saw a ghost. "Jessica," he whispered. I smiled. I held Thomas's arm tight. "Hello, Mark," I said. My voice was calm. "It is nice to meet you." Thomas looked confused. "You know each other." Mark could not speak. He was shaking. We met once or twice, I lied. A long time ago, in the city. Right, Mark? I looked at him with cold eyes. My eyes said, "Be quiet, or I will destroy you." Mark swallowed. He was pale. "Yes," he stammered. "Yes, we met." "Wonderful," Thomas said. He clapped his hands. "The maid will clean the wine. Come, let us eat." Dinner was the best meal of my life. I sat next to Thomas. Mark sat across from us. Mark could not eat. He looked sick. He stared at me. He stared at my expensive dress. He stared at his father holding my hand. "Jessica is amazing," Thomas told Mark. "She is so smart. She is so kind. I am very lucky." "Yes, Dad," Mark said quietly. "Very lucky." "So, Mark," I said, "how is your girlfriend, Cindy, right?" Mark choked on his water. We broke up," he said. "Oh, that is sad," I said. I did not feel sad. I felt happy. "Why?" "She found someone richer," Mark said bitterly. I laughed inside. Karma is real. "Well," Thomas said, "you should find a nice girl like Jessica. A girl who cares about people, not money." Mark looked down at his plate. He was humiliated. I felt a fire of victory in my chest. After that night, everything moved fast. Thomas was in love with me. And I was comfortable. I liked the life. I liked the house. I liked how Thomas treated me. 6 months later, Thomas proposed. We were in the garden. It was sunset. The sky was pink and orange. Thomas got down on one knee. He held a diamond ring. It was huge. "Jessica," he said, "you have changed my life. You make me happy. Will you marry me?" I looked at the ring. I looked at Thomas. Did I love him? I respected him. I cared for him. But was it true love? Or was it revenge? I thought about Mark. Mark would have to call me Mom. Mark would have to respect me. I would live in his house. I would spend his inheritance. "Yes," I said. "Yes, Thomas, I will marry you." The wedding was grand. There were hundreds of people. There were flowers everywhere. I wore a white dress that cost thousands of dollars. Mark was the best man. He had to stand next to his father. He had to give me the ring. When he gave me the ring, his hand shook. "Congratulations," he muttered. "Thank you, son," I whispered. I saw the anger in his eyes, but he could do nothing. His father loved me. If Mark was mean to me, Thomas would be angry at him. Mark needed Thomas's money, so Mark had to be nice to me. I moved into the mansion. My life changed completely. I did not have to work at the coffee shop anymore. I had servants. I had a driver. I had credit cards. But living with Mark was interesting. Mark lived in the guest wing of the house. He did not work. He just partied. He asked Thomas for money every week. Now things were different. One morning at breakfast, Mark asked Thomas for money. "Dad, I need $5,000, Mark said. "I want to go on a trip with my friends." Thomas looked at me. "What do you think, Jessica?" Mark looked shocked. "Why are you asking her? She is not my mother." "She is my wife," Thomas said sternly. She manages the household accounts now. I am too busy. I sipped my tea. I smiled at Mark. $5,000 is a lot of money, Mark, I said. What did you do to earn it? I am his son, Mark shouted. Being a son is not a job, I said calmly. I think you should stay home. You need to look for a job. Dad, Mark yelled. Listen to your mother, Thomas said. She is right. You spend too much. Mark stormed out of the room. He slammed the door. I felt powerful. I had control. But as time passed, something happened to me. I lived with Thomas every day. I saw who he really was. He was not just a tool for my revenge. He was a human being. He was kind to the servants. He gave money to charity. He was gentle. When I had a headache, he sat with me. He read books to me. He held my hand when I had bad dreams. I started to feel guilty. Thomas loved me for real. He trusted me. But I married him to hurt his son. That was a bad reason. Was I a bad? I wanted to be a good wife. Not for revenge, but for Thomas. I learned to cook his favorite meals. I organized his office. I planned parties for his business friends. I made him look good. Thomas was happier than ever. I have never been this happy, Jessica, he told me one night. You saved me. My heart ached. I wanted to be worthy of his love. One day, Thomas got sick. It was a bad flu. He had a high fever. He could not get out of bed. Mark did not care. Mark went to a party. Call me if he dies, Mark joked. I was furious. How could a son say that? I stayed with Thomas. I did not sleep for 3 days. I gave him medicine. I wiped his forehead with cool water. I made him soup. In those 3 days, I realized something. I loved him. I did not love him because he was rich. I did not love him because he was Mark's father. I loved him because he was Thomas. He was my best friend. He was my husband. The revenge did not matter anymore. Mark did not matter. Only Thomas mattered. When Thomas got better, he held my hand. Thank you, he said. There were tears in his eyes. You are the best thing in my life. I love you, Thomas, I said. And this time I meant it. But trouble was coming. Mark was jealous. He saw that Thomas loved me more than him. He saw that I was in charge of the money. He was afraid he would lose his inheritance. He decided to fight. One afternoon, I was in the garden. Mark came to me. I know what you are doing, Mark said. He looked dangerous. What am I doing? I asked. You are a gold digger, he said. You married my dad for money and for revenge against me. I married your dad because he is a good man, I said. Something you are not. I will tell him, Mark said. I will tell him about us. I will tell him you are my ex-girlfriend. I will tell him you planned this. I felt a cold fear. If Thomas knew the truth, would he hate me? Would he think I tricked him? Go ahead, I said. I tried to be brave. Tell him. I will, Mark smiled. Tonight. That evening, we sat in the living room. Thomas was reading the newspaper. Dad, Mark said, I need to tell you something. Something about Jessica. Thomas put down the paper. What is it? My hands shook. I looked at Mark. He was smiling a cruel smile. Jessica is a liar, Mark said. She did not meet me for the first time at dinner. We knew each other before. Thomas looked at me. Is this true, Jessica? I took a deep breath. I decided to be honest. Lies are weak. Truth is strong. Yes, I said, it is true. Mark laughed. See, she lied. And you know how we knew each other? She was my girlfriend, Dad. My poor, stupid girlfriend. I dumped her. So she married you to make me angry. The room was silent. The clock ticked. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Thomas looked at Mark. Then he looked at me. His face was unreadable. Is this true, Jessica? He asked again. Did you marry me for revenge? I looked into his eyes. I did not look away. Thomas, I said, I will tell you the truth. When we first met, I did not know who you were. I liked you. You were kind to me. But I continued. When I saw Mark's photo, I was angry. Yes. At first, I thought about revenge. Mark broke my heart. He treated me like dirt. Mark smirked. I told you. Quiet, Thomas shouted at Mark. He looked back at me. Go on. I did want to make him pay, I said. Tears came to my eyes. But Thomas, that changed. You are a wonderful man. You treated me with respect. You cared for me. Nobody has ever treated me like you do. I stood up. I walked to him. I knelt by his chair. I fell in love with you, I said. Not the money. Not the revenge. You. I stayed because I love you. If you want me to leave, I will leave. I will sign a paper. I do not want your money. I just want you to know that my love is real. I cried. I covered my face with my hands. I felt a hand on my head. It was gentle. Jessica, Thomas said softly. I looked up. He was not angry. He was sad, but he was smiling a little. I knew, Thomas said. I froze. Mark froze. What? Mark shouted. You knew. I am not stupid, Thomas said. I saw how you looked at each other at that first dinner. I saw the anger in Jessica's eyes. I saw the fear in your eyes, Mark. And you married her anyway, Mark screamed. Are you crazy? I married her, Thomas said, because she made me happy. She made this house a home. She took care of me when I was sick. You, my son, were at a party. She was by my bed. Thomas stood up. He looked at his son. Jessica is my wife, Thomas said. She is the lady of this house. If you cannot respect her, you can leave. Mark's mouth fell open. He looked at me. I was shocked too. Thomas knew. And he forgave me. But Dad, Mark whined. No buts, Thomas said. You are an adult, Mark. Stop acting like a child. Jessica is a good woman. She worked hard her whole life. You have never worked. Maybe you should learn from her. Mark turned red. He looked at me one last time. He saw that he lost. He turned and walked out of the house. I looked at Thomas. You really knew. I suspected, he said. But I waited. I wanted to see who you really were. And I saw a woman with a big heart. a woman who was hurt, but who learned to love again. He hugged me. I cried into his chest. I felt safe. I felt forgiven. I am sorry, I sobbed. I am so sorry. It is okay, he said. The past is the past. We have the future. That was 2 years ago. Life is different now. Mark moved out. He finally got a job. He works in an office. He is learning to be responsible. We see him sometimes at Christmas. He is polite to me now. He calls me Jessica, not Mom, and that is okay. Thomas and I are very happy. We travel. We work in the garden. We help people. I learned a big lesson. Revenge is a strong fire. It can burn you. It can make you do crazy things. I started this journey with anger. I wanted to hurt someone. But hate is heavy. Love is light. I found something better than revenge. I found a family. I found dignity. And I found true love. Sometimes bad things happen to us. People cheat. People lie. We get our hearts broken. It is okay to be angry. It is okay to cry. But do not let the anger stay forever. My name is Jessica. I married my ex-boyfriend's father. It started as a dark plan, but it ended as a beautiful life. And the best part, I am happy, truly happy. And that is the best revenge of all. You can be happy too. No matter how much your heart hurts today, tomorrow can be better. Believe in yourself and keep your heart open. You never know where love will find you.